Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Mahfouz Ahmed Khan. Welcome to my Mahfouz Biology channel. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to learn cell the unit of life. Topic cell theory. Let's start. So in the cell theory, like before we studied about the cell, we studied about the cell discovery. There we learned about the Robert Hooke who discovered the cell, dead cell, and then Anton van Leeuwenhoek, he discovered the living cell, and then in the last, Robert Brown, he discovered the nucleus. Okay. Robert Hooke discovered a dead cell in 1665, and then Anton van Leeuwenhoek discovered living cell in 1674, and Robert Brown discovered nucleus in 1831. Okay, it's a kind of chronology, you can say. And here you can see it's the line with the discovery of microscope. Like as we develop our microscope, we start discovering more microscopic things. Like earlier, we don't have that much high level kind of a microscope. We have very simple microscope. Like Robert Hooke made that time their own microscope and then check the quartz slice into that. Okay. So then Anton von Leeuwenhoek invent, or you can say, make that microscope more better. Then he discovered the living cell. And now in 1831, the Robert Brown, he discovered the nucleus. That time the microscope uh, is more improved. Okay. Then in 1931, around 1931, there that time, the condition is like we discovered the electron microscope. Then we discovered ribosome also, which is in nanometers in size. You can say 10 to 20 nanometer size of ribosomes. And those cells, like prokaryotic cell has size around, you can say 3 to 5 micrometer, and eukaryotic cell size have like 10 to 20 micrometer. So there is a very big difference. It's aligned with the discovery of microscopes, development and improvement of microscopes. Okay. So in the first we will start this topic from I will tell you about simple microscope. It's first time used in 17th century. 17th century. That time, you can say that in 1664 or 1665, Robert Hooke, he discovered the dead cell by using this microscope. Then as time has go, like slowly and gradually, then living cell and then nucleus, and then in 20th century we discover the ribosomes also because of story of electron microscope. Okay, you get me. Now, now we come upon the cell theory. Okay, before cell theory, all the information is fragmented. Someone discovered nucleus, someone discovered cell, someone discovered dead cell, someone discovered living cell. All the information is distorted, you can say, or you can say fragmented. And nobody knows about clearly about cell. Nobody knows that cell is a structural unit of human organism. Cell is the functional unit of human being or organism. Nobody knows about that. They just fragmented information there is. Okay. So before cell theory, information was fragmented. Nobody knows perfectly what is where and how that works. So cell theory. First of all, I want to explain you what is hypothesis and what is theory. So theory is the experimental proof of hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis is such as I say this chalk can write on whiteboard. This chalk can write on green board. Nobody knows that this chalk can write on. Or I just say that this chalk is with this chalk I can use this chalk on write with I can write with the help of this chalk on green board without any knowledge. I just say that. No, there is no link into experiment or not. And then another person came and he hold this chalk and start writing something. And then he says, yeah, your hypothesis is true. Like I can use this chalk for writing. Like this is proof I write on this board with using this chalk. So earlier I just said that this chalk can write on green board. That was hypothesis. But when I do experimental proof, when I experimentally prove that, then I can say, yeah, this chalk can really write on this board. Okay, so here is the experimental proof of hypothesis. Okay, so then next, so now we start our the cell theory. So and say skeleton. Okay. Somebody say schlieden, somebody say schlieden. So I used to say schlieden, but you can say schlieden also. So Selden used to Selden in 1838. He was a German botanist. Okay? There is huge amount of work from Germany in zoology and botany and several fields. There is huge amount of work from Germany. So he was German botanist, and he worked on so many plants. He worked on so many plants, and then he says plants are made up of cells. Okay, he worked he worked on so many different plants, and he announced that plant are made up of cells. So this is cell in cells with their experiments and different observation. Okay. Then comes Rudolf Swan. Like you can also say Swan, and somebody says Swan. So I used to say Swan, and Swan is like actually Swan is real pronunciation of this word. Somebody who says Swan, they just say for remembering the spelling. So when we say Swan, we can easily remember the spelling. But we should say Swan. In 1839, in NCERT it is written there, like it is the almost same time they both come on the same one. Okay. So Theodore Swan, he said he was in 1839, he was a British geologist in England. He stated that all animals are also made up of steel. What he said, when first Credence says that all plants are made of cell, and Swan also says that yeah, all animals also made of cell. Okay, so he found yeah, he found animal cell. He found that animal cell have nuclei. He found that animal cell have nuclei in cytoplasm enclosed in the thin membrane. Okay, thin membrane called plasma membrane, or you can say cell membrane. What is it? He found animal cell have nuclei. We know that. This is the animal cell and it has nuclei in between the cells. So this is in cytoplasm. Earlier they don't know this is cytoplasm. They just say it's a clear substance. Nuclear solid is found in a clear substance. Now we know that it is cytoplasm. Enclosed in a thin membrane. Enclosed in a thin membrane. Here you can say this is the area of cytoplasm and this is cell membrane. So enclosed in cell membrane called plasma membrane. Okay, thin membrane is called membrane. So then he also stated plants have unique structure called cell. Like Swan also worked on plants, and he sees that there is another layer upon cell membrane. It is cell wall. So he also said that plant have unique structure called cell wall. Why he says it's unique structure to cell wall? Because cell wall differentiate between the animal cell and plant cell. Even bacteria also have cell wall. So it's a differentiation, you can say. He just recognized that there is a difference of cell wall between plant and animal cell. Okay. Then he gives the hypothesis all organisms are made up of cell and product of cell. What is it? All all organisms mean in organism you can say all plants and all animals are made up of cell. Mm, made up of cell and product of cell. We know that like cell is the structural unit of life, structural unit of organism, structural unit of plant, structural unit of animal, all living thing present in this world. The cell is the structural unit of that thing, okay, that living thing. So the cell, we are organism are made of cell. We can easily understand that from the cell definition. Now, what is this product of cell? What is this? So for that, I need to run this board. Then I will explain everything again. Okay. Okay. So this is the product of cell. So here you understand that what is the product of cell. Okay. So this is cell. Okay. This is also a cell. This is one more cell, and then one more cell. Okay. And then combination of thousands, billions cell. It makes an organism. Okay. Let's say human being. Okay. So, but as you know that only cell cannot make a complete organism. Okay, it needs the material, holding material. Which material you can say which hold those cells together. If I give you an example of a home or a house, you know that while we make our home, we don't put bricks like that one like this. We don't put bricks like that. We don't do it. We also use a cement material. We also use cement material. It's also like kind of compound material we use, and then we put that material between these things. Okay, so that these bricks make a good wall, a strong wall, so that our home also get strong. Okay, and this material also helps those bricks be together. Okay, so similarly, like that, likewise, cell also has some material in their surrounding. Okay, okay. So the interesting thing is, cell produce that material. This material which is surrounding those cells, cell itself produce this material for itself to get hold and then get together. Okay, I say again, the product, the material you say around the cell itself produces this material. So this material is product of the cell. So that's why it's what says all organisms are made up of cell and product of cell. Made up of cell, we know that made up of cell, all cells are there, and then the organism is formed. So product of cell, this is the product of cell, and cell itself produces this product. So I think now you understand that. So now I tell you about schlieden and schwann meeting. Okay, I read that into the Wikipedia about both of them. It's like the Wikipedia says that once they are on a dining table. Okay, they are having a coffee or tea. You can say they are on a dining table. Schlieden exchange his work with Swan, and Swan share his work with Sheldon. Okay, they both exchange their investigations and applied their concept. First, they exchange their investigation. They get interested in that. Then after that, they make a mind, and then they start applying their concept on on all organisms. This forms the basis of scientific. So earlier, you know that Swan gave a hypothesis that all living cells are made up of cell and product of cell. Okay, so that was the hypothesis. But when cell and Swan both come together, they both come together and they extend their theories and work upon that, and they explain that hypothesis together by experimental proof. Then this becomes the basis of cell theory. Okay, so both second is one. Together give cells only. All living organisms are made up of cell and product of cell. This is same thing Swan also said that in his hypothesis, but that was hypothesis that need to be experimentally proved and for to become theory. So now they both come together and prove that experimentally, and now it becomes the cell theory, not cell hypothesis. Okay. So then it has demerit also. What's the demerit? They don't tell anything about how new cells were formed. Okay, they don't tell anything how new cells were formed. They don't know that time. They don't know about division and everything else. So they just skip that point, and they just tell about cell organisms are made up of cell and product of cell. They don't tell anything about how new cells were formed. Okay. Here come the climax. So now this is the Rudolf virchow. Virchow you can say, and virchow also virchow. So this is Rudolf virchow. He gave the final step to the ceremony. Rudolf virchow. In 1855, he's the German psychologist. He worked on the plant cell, animal cell, and then he says that omnicellular is cellular. Actually, I also read about Rudolf Virchow on the Wikipedia. It says that this statement is not Rudolf Virchow statement. This statement of another scientist. But that time, that scientist statement not that much popularized. Rudolf Virchow or Virchow, he popularized this statement. Omnicellular is cellular. Okay, he gives the right to this statement. And in front of everyone. So what's that word sentence mean? Omni means all. Okay, sometimes we hear about the God. God is the omnipotent. He is everywhere. So omni means all. Sarvada means self. E matlab come from. E means come from. Sarvada means self. Okay. So all cells come from cell. Okay. It means all cells come from cells. So what it means, like if I give you the definition form, so it says all living cells arise from pre-existing cells. It simply says about talk about the division. Now from here and talking with the talk about division starts. Yes, it says that all living cells arise from pre-existing cells. Like there is a cell is starting, it divides, it's divided and then made two new cells. Okay, so these cells come from this cell. By the division of this cell, these two cells are formed. This is also called mitosis. Okay? Mitosis. Okay. So here is this all the cell theory. There are some more points left in this cell theory. I will teach you those all points. Like 7 or 8 or 10 points are there. I will teach you those all points in next class. For this class, I think around 15 to 16 or 18 minutes it happens already. So I will teach you those points in next class. Okay. So this our topic finished now, almost finished. And thank you for that. And if you get benefited from my lecture, you can share my lecture to your friends, and you can subscribe my channel. And I will catch you in next video. Okay. Bye bye.